people. Well, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into NFT Live. We're talking NFTs, Web3. We're talking apparently CLONEX today, which we will get to, but that will be another story that will be fire. Anyways, Tuesday edition NFT Live coming at you. We got Azuki. We've got CryptoPunks versus Bored Apes versus, again, CLONEX. We've got some other interesting things to talk about, Coinbase NFT and some of the struggles that they're having there on that launch. But Gifted, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good. We also have a DB's Subet NFT giveaway happening right now. So make sure that you're paying attention because on the other side of this envelope, there's a secret phrase. There's something on the other side of this envelope that can you pull up that tweet, Q? So
Fuck yeah.
if you like, retweet, and then comment on this tweet right here that Q's showing you with the secret phrase that we are going to be showing on this episode here in a few minutes. That's how you enter. That's how you can win this limited edition, beautiful NFT that is DB's collaboration with none other than world-renowned artist Ali Sabet.
I also see a lot of beautiful people in the chat here. J. Lee Walls, UGP, Boo coming in on Spaces and on YouTube, just absolutely getting after it. We've got, who else is in the house? Mr. E, Asmodai saying regional time of day to you all. Young Content. Make sure you smash that like button, nerds. Yo, Young, we appreciate you being here today. OVOT, our vibe, our tribe. We are about to get after it here on this edition of NFT Live. Again, we got some quick hits on the news, but we are going to touch on some of that bigger piece, which will be CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, Azuki, and Coinbase NFT. We will get to that when we get to it. Oh, Cardano NFTs popping hard, surpassed Sol in volume. I don't know if we're going to touch on Cardano today. I just don't know. I can't promise anything. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
Well, I would love to get into it, if not today, then like this week, because we're chain agnostic here on Web3. Like we're just looking for the coolest, best shit. Like we talk about Tez NFTs, we talk about Solana NFTs, we do onboarding on GM Web3 to new different wallets and chains. I don't know anything about Cardano NFTs yet. So if we can learn together, if we can, figure out what's happening, what's popping off on Cardano, I'd like to learn, but maybe that's tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to get into it today.
I second that. Can we honestly do like a dual episode, kind of like we're doing today on Cardano? Because I feel like
that's the topic tomorrow. Maybe GM Web3 Hump Day edition is going to be Cardano NFTs. And we'll carry that through into the show.
Yeah, before we get started, I just want to give my sincere apologies to the Bored Ape Yacht Club. We did not do, apparently, the best job in defending your honor as the biggest blue chip in the space. We had and I'm going to pull up the tweet, we had a battle of the blue chips, I think was the term. Great branding there. Which was CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, and CLONEX, which was at the beginning of the episode about to get thrown out. Like no shit. I was there early. They were gonna sub in Moonbirds for CLONEX, and then by the end of the episode, they were the only ones left standing. So
slow burner, I guess. I mean, CLONEX really came through. Nobody thought they were going to make it, but the community showed out. They had a couple late ringers come in. Owen Rogers and Boo came through with the energy to defend the honor and the virtues of CLONEX.
And so, Genetics coming in with probably the best argument against CLONEX, which was the name sounds like a laxative. And I'm not, honestly, I am a believer in that as well. So I wish you would have brought that up live.
Either way, it's good shit,
Yeah. All right. We're going to get to our quick hits. Let me throw this up here on the screen really quick, but we're going to get to quick hit number one, which just recently, was dropped this morning in that Utes Yacht Club on ETH pulls the rug. Now, this is not... Again, Utes. This has nothing to do with the D-Gods. I mean, other than it being a derivative of that NFT project, this is not a project there within that D-Gods ecosystem. But they did run away with 1,600 ETH. So thoughts on Utes Yacht Club pulling the rug? Sorry for those that apparently were standing on that rug.
My question is, how many derivative projects have continued to build beyond like a month or two? How many derivative projects aren't, quote unquote rugs or actually have some kind of team behind them long term. Like maybe Funks, like I
Funks,
know
I was gonna say Funks.
Funks are a thing. Can you name any other derivative
I
projects that have a long-standing, track record at all? I think people that are diving into derivative projects should be going into that knowing that it's extremely speculative and risky, and that the chance of it being a rug is extremely high. So
yeah.
I mark it as like not surprised.
All right, so we'll actually pull up the top 100 projects in NFTs. We use NFT Price Floor, we use NFT Go. There's some other platforms we use, but again, going through the top 100 here, stop me when you see a derivative project because it's going to take a while, if at all, in that top 100 that we see our first derivative project. Also, Caked Apes is being brought up. So
okay, Caked Apes. Actually, that's a great example. That's a derivative project that is great, and we love that. But like, there's not many, right? There's one or two that we named, and there's hundreds of, there's probably thousands of derivative projects, and the vast majority of them are absolutely just cash grabs.
yeah, Bored Ape Chemistry Club, I was going to say might be a derivative project, but that's actually just the vials. So we haven't even hit it yet. So we're in the top 50. Moonbird's Oddities. That's part of that. That's part of them too.
Yeah, that's an official collection, part of that ecosystem. I mean, look, why do you create a derivative project? It's literally to capitalize on the hype of another project. Like you don't even you can't even really capitalize on the IP associated with it. I mean, I know MFers like MFers has some derivative projects that have done okay, but like I wouldn't be betting long term on any derivative projects because they're literally just opportunistic cash grabs. That's by definition. Like unless you think that you are going to like seriously add long term value to a larger ecosystem somehow, or the team actually has really good values and is doxed and like they're like, yeah, we're serious about the affinity for the original IP so much that we want to dedicate our lives to our own version of that. Like, I don't know. The incentives aren't there, I think, for derivative projects.
I do want to get to some of these comments. One of the really cool like pseudo faux derivative projects that was launched. Do you remember Loot? Do you remember the Loot project? That was that was going to be a dope concept that really never panned out, right? Like you have this NFT that represents items that could be a part of a larger derivative ecosystem where people could build games off of the items that you have on that NFT. Never really planned out. I don't know what's going on with Loot. Certainly the derivatives of that derivative-esque project didn't do well.
That created its own meta. That was like a whole meta for a while, was the Loot meta, right? And so, yeah, I remember, my partner Woboy got super, super deep into that. And it was cool. It was interesting. But yeah, it seems like it wasn't fully conceptualized, or it just wasn't fully there.
Yeah, you know what didn't do well was X Loot, which was a derivative off of Loot that
No
I
way.
bought into. No, yeah, totally. Didn't make $1 billion on that one. Next quick hit, really quick. But Budweiser is partnering with FIFA World Cup to launch a little bit of their NFTs. The only reason I bring this up is to talk about a larger brand actually doing a fairly good job of dropping NFTs as well as kind of adding additional utility. This is actually sick. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Budweiser had like a original drop that was they have it here as they talk about it, but basically if you owned one of their original NFT collections, you could actually get these new FIFA World Cup NFTs for free. There's a mini game associated with this. There's also the ability to potentially get, I believe, tickets, fan experience, all of these different things that come along with the World Cup here that's launching soon. You can see the game there. So am I interested in this? Not really. But is this kind of a follow-up on an initial drop by a larger brand, which we didn't see? I don't see any fucking Pepsi things going on with those stupid little microphones that they launched a long time ago. So Budweiser, props for that, as well as kind of the rollout of this. I mean, they have multiple different pieces. Here's their original holders can, heritage cans, which they launched like last bull run. But I'm actually, it's easy, low hanging fruit to make fun of a company like Budweiser for doing this stuff. But actually, I thought the rollout was cool. I'll drop the link here in the chat.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Aussie Open or whatever, the Australian Open. I remember we covered that on Art Start Now. They actually did a really good job. And that was one of the first times that I saw like a sports tournament incorporating NFTs in a really interesting way. This feels like it's also very well thought out. Like there's utility, there's a lot to it. I'm actually very interested in, obviously the World Cup and like any NFTs associated with that. I'm less interested in the Budverse or whatever they're saying, whatever. I don't really give a shit about participating in a meaningful way in Budweiser's metaverse, the Budverse. But if there's really awesome collectibles that unlock utilities around the World Cup, like I'm for
Yeah.
that.
I'm shocked we don't want to get involved in the Budverse. Sounds like a really dope metaverse.
And you think we're the target audience for real,
Jaylee Walls is saying Budweiser. I will get to some of the comments, guys. We're still getting CryptoPunks and Bored Ape comments here, which I'm juggling whether we want to cover Azuki first, but I think we'll get to the CryptoPunks Bored Ape stuff just to kind of hit the fresh news.
The battle is ongoing. The
right from
battle is
GM
still
Web3.
going. It's happening.
Lil Nate is saying Bored Ape is a CryptoPunks derivative. Enough said. Cake is life is being thrown around. Punks 110%. Team Cake Apes. So we see your guys' comments. I'll throw it up on the screen as we get started. Please leave a like on the channel. Actually, it's not please. It's you need to do this before we move on. Also, GiftDead has in his hand a golden ticket to which giveaway here, Gif, while I pull it up.
It is an Ali Sabet DB's collab limited edition NFT that we're going to give away. There it is. Absolutely beautiful. I believe it's one of 32. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous work. If you don't know who Sabet is, he's one of the biggest NFT artists in the world. And that was one of the collabs we got to do. We're giving that away. All you got to do is go to that tweet, like it, retweet it, and then you got to comment with the secret phrase that we're going to show here in just a few minutes on this show. So that's what you need. You need the secret password so you can comment, and then we will randomly select one winner after the show ends.
Hell yeah. We got a comment there on the Budverse. I did drop the link. Genetics is asking, does the Budweiser Poe app count towards the new NFT waitlist? I don't think so. I think it's only the heritage that actually gets you the ability to actually claim this new NFT drop. So definitely check out that link. Again, these are like quick hits that we're kind of getting to you guys, but you can definitely jump in a little bit heavier if you'd like. All right, last piece that I wanted to cover before we get to Bored Ape. Really love these guys over at Framework Ventures. It's like a venture firm that has been around for a long time, primarily in the DeFi space. These Spencer and Michael have been on the channel before. They're just awesome dudes, really smart fucking dudes. And they led a round for a company called Stardust, which I'm super interested in. This is a super quick hit. Again, 30 million in a bear market. That's really dope. But essentially what they're doing is building infrastructure for games. So literally the ability to have like non-AAA game developers add NFTs into their game, add custodial wallets into their games, like really, really cool stuff that people that don't have these large studios need in order to build Web3 games. So yeah, big shout out to Framework Ventures. They got in that round. Shout out to Stardust, $30 million if you want to throw any of that our way on some promos on NFT Live. We are open for business.
Let's go. Yeah, congrats on that. I mean, that's huge. 30 mil in a bear market ain't too shabby. So yeah, hopefully they've got some cool games coming down the pipeline, and yeah, love to partner on it.
All right, so everybody settled down here in chat. We are going to talk CryptoPunks Apes, and apparently we have to throw in CLONEX to this debate too, even though the thumbnail says...
What do you have against CLONEX, Q? What do you have against Artifact?
I don't. I have...
You don't
it felt like
Murakami?
It felt like BAYC came in third in that debate, and it just...
No, CryptoPunks got the floor wiped.
Okay, yeah, per usual. Yeah. Nothing new there. We literally have no links to pull up. We can go through this as we go on. If anybody has anything that they'd like me to pull up on the screen for their evidence as to why Punks should be ahead of Apes or Apes ahead of Punks or CLONEX as the number one blue chip in the space. But we're opening the floor. GIF, what did you take from that argument?
Yeah, I will say one of the most compelling arguments that I got from the battle of the blue chips, why Apes is superior to CryptoPunks is that Yuga bought Larva, right? I mean, I think were you the one that said, you buy your younger brother or something like that?
Yeah. Well,
You don't
someone said
buy
you
out
buy
your
your
older
older
brother.
brother out. You don't need to do that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for like which company is actually building, creating utility, moving forward, like really pushing the NFT industry forward. And right now, Bored Apes is at the vanguard of the whole SEC regulatory fight that's going to be coming, and they're going to be dictating so much of the future of this industry. Larva Labs, they don't even exist anymore, right?
Exactly.
So that to me is a very compelling argument for why Bored Apes is superior. Of course, CryptoPunks has the provenance, the legacy, more OG status.
Yeah, I do want to go back to this comment made by, I think it was, oh man, I gotta go back. Nate is saying Bored Ape is a CryptoPunks derivative. Enough said. But I do want to touch on that regulation stuff as well. I feel like it's getting convoluted a little bit that that CryptoPunks is not part of this regulation talk as well. Like the SEC is investigating Yuga Labs. Yuga Labs owns CryptoPunks, so like it's the entire ecosystem, in my opinion, not just Bored Apes. Although that's obviously what people talk about. So CryptoPunks, in a sense, are under this umbrella as well.
Yeah. I mean, but like, I don't think anybody would call CryptoPunks a security. Like, they were literally given away for free with no promise of anything, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
I'm not really worried that CryptoPunks would be considered a security. Um, yeah, I don't know. But to me, the more interesting thing is that CLONEX got as much attention and people came out to fight for it the way that they did. So clearly, a lot of believers on the CLONEX side of things. Obviously, a lot of people talking about the virtues that come with being basically owned by Nike, and
that's yeah.
yeah, it's huge. It is, right.
Was Nike or CloneX said more on that call? Like I feel like they were almost in
It
tandem,
was pretty
50-50
even.
split.
Yeah, it's pretty even. But again, that's huge value. If you when you think CLONEX, you think Nike. Like that's good for CLONEX, right? And you could argue even just based on that they should probably be more expensive than they are, because the floor is only around 8 ETH right now on the CLONEX.
Yeah,
And they're developing, right? I mean, like we were just looking, was it yesterday at the new, like they're rolling out a bunch of new videos, a bunch of like teasers and
yes.
demos right now for the expansion to their world, right?
Yeah, we can pull that up while we go live. The CryptoPunk stuff is interesting because like everyone that's a detractor will say, "Hey, you guys aren't doing this, you aren't doing this," and then the CryptoPunks will come back and be like, "That's the point." Like it's a feature, not a bug type of argument, right? Like all we need to have is that provenance, that idea of being first, nothing's changed, yada yada yada. So yeah, it's tough for me. I definitely side more on like the future of whatever is being built. Although Yuga is now in the driver's seat in doing whatever utility I guess they do outside of like community led initiatives. But yeah, I definitely obviously side with the Bored Apes as well. We'll get into that a little bit. Do you have any comment
Not
there?
biased, not biased at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how CryptoPunks hold up over time compared with a Bored Ape or a CloneX or some of these teams that are much more actively, building worlds and IP and different utilities. Because it's just a different argument. Like I have to say though, from a personal perspective, the CryptoPunk art is not great. Most people don't even think of it as art, and they're just low quality pixel characters. They're still kind of cool. I get it. Like they do look cool as PFPs, but like the art's not that great. It's really not. So I don't know.
It
Even from an artistic appreciation standpoint, like I'm not the biggest pixel art fan, and I can appreciate what they are while also seeing the limitation.
Asmodai is saying got into CloneX via MetaKey. Feel they're engaging the community with quests and encouraging creativity. More coming. Outer Space Ace is saying fuck Magic Eden, which I think on this channel we definitely appreciate. Give them thumbs up there. And Genetics Design is saying pro ape argument. The Ape Coin DAO votes to incorporate POAPs into their voting system. Mentioned in last week's newsletter was accepted with a 99.8 pass rate. Thank you for bringing up the ApeCoin DAO, because I do feel like, other than maybe MakerDAO and a couple other large decentralized autonomous organizations, these groups that have something to do with pushing the community-led initiatives, ApeCoin and that DAO are one of the largest in the space and one of the best at getting shit done. Like, they are literally and I'm standing up on my like soapbox here, but they are literally pushing the DAO governance model forward, along with some of these larger ones like MakerDAO. Like, you look at DAOs for most projects, there's like maybe 10 people that are actively involved. You know what I'm saying? Like voting in DAOs sucks, but like, you look at this ApeCoin initiatives, the staking, all of this stuff, it's like the perfect, kind of case study to like see how DAOs look in real time.
Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument that Bored Apes and their whole ecosystem with Mutants Kennel Club, Other Side, ApeCoin, ApeCoin DAO, it really is the most comprehensive, where they're kind of doing everything at the highest level. And they're really, to your point, they're pushing the whole NFT industry space forward and innovating across all these different sort of like parts of the ecosystem, right? Because again, like everything they're doing is at the highest level and at the forefront of the space. And I just don't think there's any other projects at this point that are doing as much, to push the whole space forward. And to your point about DAOs, like, yeah, there's just not that many DAOs that are like really, really influential at this point. I do want to, shout out Nouns DAO. Nouns DAO is definitely one of the only ones that when I think of DAOs, I think of Nouns DAO.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to pull up a little bit of those CLONEX trailers that we looked at last week, but I think, like you said, still have relevance. We haven't moved on just yet. I know the space moves fast, but not that fast. So these are all like really cool lore building activities when they launch these videos that have to do with their ecosystem. So they had this one, as well as another one that was like highlighting the actual clones, which got a lot of hate. Are we highlighting this? Guys, do we see what's on the screen? Do we see what's on, as I minimize them? There it is.
We'll see who got it. We'll see who got it. I'll flash it one more time, closer to the end. If you didn't catch the secret password for this Subbet DB's giveaway.
Yo, I appreciate all of the votes that are happening actually in chat, at least with your comments. Definitely drop some more. CLONEX art was actually brought up early in the show this morning. Jessica specifically did not like clones as just like aesthetic value art kind of situation with the PFPs. Do you agree?
So I have to say, like, it's not my favorite. And to be honest, like a lot of these sort of really plastic looking 3D models don't really do it for me. So I do think that they are better quality and more interesting than a lot of the other, plastic looking 3D models. So yeah, as far as like their specific style and of art and what they're doing from a 3D modeling perspective, I think it's good quality, and I think it's interesting because it's got the different colors and traits and Takashi's influence. So it's not my favorite personally, but I still think I think it's pretty cool. I think it's interesting. What do you think?
Here's another release. 3D models are tough. I feel like they get a lot of hate, but there's also a lot of 3D models that have launched that have been not rugs, but people just don't like the style there. Mechaverse was one of the first 3D models. I wouldn't even put Super Yetis into this like debate, but they definitely like were in that 3D model-esque look. So I feel like a lot of people have botched 3D models, so it kind of comes out against it.
I'd say CLONEX is basically just a derivative of Super Yetis. So
true. Can we wait? Can we get that on screen so Jacob can capture that?
Yeah. I think anybody who really looks closely will be able to tell that CLONEX is basically just a derivative of the Super Yetis.
Okay. Jacob, cut that, please. Put that on there.
Let's
Cannot
get
wait.
flamed, bro. Let's fucking go.
Cannot wait. For any of you guys that don't know out there, this is like a little side topic. The amount of hate on YouTube for NFTs is still at an all-time high. And I don't care that Ethereum did the merge and that we took down 99.9% of the carbon footprint there. It is sky high, and it is the absolute most toxic thing you have ever seen in your life, ever.
Yeah, people be angry. There's angry people out there on the internet. Who would have thought?
What a take. What a take. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull up the floor price here is on NFT Go. This is CryptoPunks, I believe. So floor price sitting at 66.58. It looks like, other than like a random dip.
What's that random dip there? What happened there?
Someone got a little antsy.
I guess. Somebody just massively undercut the floor by like how many ETH?
Let's see. 66. So
that's not that much.
Yeah, it looks like it's just like the chart base. So 30 go out to 30 days. So it's been pretty stagnant. There hasn't been like obviously any much movement, and that's a positive, right? Like the bear market has continued, and we really haven't seen much like downward movement. I mean, I'm sure if you go out to 1 year, like every other fucking project in this space, as we wait for NFT Go to get its shit together, yeah, that's actually not that bad. I mean, 93.
I mean, as far as NFTs go as an asset, CryptoPunks are probably one of the safest investments that there are, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it says like to me, because I'm sure if you pulled up Bored Apes, it's going to look a lot more volatile than that. It's probably dipped way more. So yeah, it just seems like CryptoPunks are more stable than most other NFTs at this point, given the historical value. That doesn't mean that they'll always hold it or that they will increase in value over time. But they probably will. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Not financial advice.
It almost feels like CryptoPunks act like art rather than a traditional PFP project, right? Because PFP projects all have these roadmaps, they all have these like utility drops, there's these community engagements.
But it's the original PFP, basically.
It is,
so
but that's
interesting. You know,
that in itself is like art almost in a way. Like you could say that. When I say art, I mean like not maybe like it's like almost like an asset that has historical value. You know, like when a player wins a World Cup, or like Maradona's like first jersey, like that almost becomes art in a way. Like it's hung up and put in a museum or something like that. So
yeah, well, it's the beautiful game, and he was one of the most famous, he played at the highest level at his peak, and won the World Cup, and that is is art. All of that is
Maradona stan. I love it.
Well, I'm just a football stan. I mean, that's history.
True. Manchester United has a ton of history. Hasn't done much in the recent history. Have to also put that out there for the Manchester United fan.
Why you just got to start flaming Man U out for no reason? It was uncalled for.
So BAYC is a little bit obviously more. Yeah, I think you're correct, right? It's incredibly more volatile than what you saw with CryptoPunks there, which was more of a flat line across the board. So but I mean, again, utility drops and things like that will I feel like force people to buy and then sell and do all these different things. So UGP saying gorillas are the original PFP in my opinion. Are we just talking like anime? Is that like Samurai Jack? Like, can that be a PFP? Oh shit! Here we go. All right, while we have you up on the main screen here, the billboard, why Crypto Apex?
Crypto Apex, because it's a combination. It's just making up a secret password based upon the battle of the blue chips.
Okay,
get CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, and CLONEX.
Get your last arguments in. We are going to move on to Azuki. They have a pretty dope trailer that we're going to show as well. They launched physical backed tokens, which we'll get into and we'll talk about. Prodigy's in the house saying you and Jay Lee is getting after it in the chat, so we appreciate it. Toxic means we are in the right place from Quantum Variant. Thank you guys for participating. All right, Bored Ape. I mean, you put out a lot of comments there on your support there. Any last comments there on BAYC and where they're headed? I do feel like we made a good argument for CLONEX. I'm actually more interested now that I showed up on the GM Web3 show. And, CryptoPunks, I don't think I'll ever kind of get into just because I like that activity, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, I would love to have a CryptoPunk one day because it feels like a status symbol to me. It's not as much of like a rush because I don't feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of utility tomorrow or something like that. So there's not as much immediacy or urgency, but it's just like if I can own one day, it's just a status symbol. It's just awesome to have it. Um, I'm increasingly interested in CloneX. I don't have one yet, but I'm increasingly interested in it. And I think the more that I think about what is the value and the potential value of having Artifact and Nike building that ecosystem, it's gonna be huge. Like it's gonna be much more valuable than a lot of others just based upon the resources and the Web 2 ecosystem that already exists for them
yeah,
to integrate with, right? And I think, when you look at what Nike's been able to accomplish from a collectible standpoint with different drops and all these different things, I think getting more of those, like their audience of sneakerheads and collectors into the ecosystem is going to add a lot of value, right? So I don't know how much onboarding they've already done of their existing community, but as NFTs mainstream and a lot more of those people will start to come in and then they find out like, oh, this is the OG Nike NFT, I feel like they're going to increase in value over time. So I don't know. I don't have one. I am actually feeling pretty bullish on CloneX though.
yeah. Yeah, I can see that. The Nike coming in and backing them and having like a larger war chest seems like a pretty strong argument, right? Like CloneX is going to do some pretty good things because Nike is. I also like the idea around merch and how like little it means, but also how much it means. You know what I mean? Like there's like all
With
these other
certain
things that
audiences,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, certain audiences really fucking care, right?
Exactly. And Bored Ape coming out with merch that people were less than happy with, like has some type of reputational like carryover that was even brought up in the morning show this morning, right? Like the fact that they launched those Mutant Ape things or Mutant Ape clothes, and it wasn't really well received from a lot of people. They thought it was like very grungy. I know there was a lot of terminology for that as it was thrown out, but it's just interesting to see that as compared to CloneX, which was like, hey,
They're
we really
mutant
like
apes.
what they're doing, you know?
Yeah, I mean they're mutant apes, bro. Like, what do you expect? They drink serum and they, fucking turn into ungodly creatures. So I don't know. Like that's just to me that's just like a taste thing. You can't make everybody happy. I thought some of it was pretty cool.
I thought some
Most
of it was cool. One thing I will throw into the ring though, please, like less black. Like give me a little bit
a lot of
more.
black. Well, they switched it up at Ape Fest. The stuff that they did there was actually bright, colorful, tie dye and
That's
shit
fair.
like that. So
More of
I
that.
think I think they took the note.
Yeah. More of that.
And they've done white hoodies and white shirts. So I don't know.
Yo, school me on the difference between version 1, version 2 CryptoPunks. Because again, I haven't bought a CryptoPunk. I have no idea what that
So
even means.
okay, so I'm not an expert. I'll try and explain it the best I can. If somebody wants to link in the comments or share any thoughts on what really happened or correct me, please do. But my understanding is that they had basically a failed initial rollout. So there was a first collection of CryptoPunks that for whatever reason, I think it might have been like a contract issue. There was something wrong. It didn't work out. Again, it was an experiment. Like when they did this shit in 2017, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Nobody did. It was all brand new. It was the first 10K project. There'd never been anything quite like it. So the point is, it was an experiment, and it sounds like, again, my layman's understanding is the first version was botched, and they had to roll out a second collection. And then basically, this was sort of like a headline last year when people, I think they figured out a way to wrap them somehow so you could start buying and transacting with the original,
Yep.
broken collection. And so that was like a hype moment, and people were speculating that somehow those would be valuable. I haven't heard anything about it since. Again, like I'm always like really not into that like sort of aspect of collecting, where it's like you're just heavily speculating on additional versions of things that it kind of feels like the whole derivative thing. It's like, why would you not just invest in the original instead of staking your value and your, whatever expected future return on a secondary ancillary of the original that doesn't have any dedicated core or team or whatever behind it, right?
Yeah, agreed. And I do appreciate that breakdown as well, because that looks like that's what happened, right? There was like a botched contract or like something that was off in that initial contract. So Larva Labs, RIP Larva Labs, actually came back and said these version 2s are the ones that we officially adopt. But that doesn't mean that, again, and this is where the wrapped punks come in, that people weren't buying, like you're saying, the off meta or like the first version of the punks that Larva Labs said weren't now the punks, but kind of still are. So I mean, whatever, to each their own. People want to collect that shit. People want to collect it.
Well, it's the same thing to me as if there was, redundancies created from the Ethereum merge, and then you wanted to go back and like buy up all of the proof of work apes at this point. It's like,
yeah,
maybe somebody's going to care about that, but
yeah,
I don't put a lot of value on things that are basically like broken or outdated, or again, like ancillary, to the original. Like, buy into the original. If you see value in an ecosystem, get the original thing, right?
But isn't V1 the original? V1's the original.
I mean, not really. If it didn't work, if it was just like, so like, let's I'm trying to think of like another analogy. Like, Thomas Edison, when he was trying to figure out, figure out the light bulbs, right? Like, he went through famously like 1,000 different, filaments and like experiments. But like, do you care about what any of those experiments were at this point? No, you care about like what he eventually figured out worked. He cares about like what was the thing that took off that made it all happen, right? It's like, that's where people invest. That's what people care about. That provides the utility.
To be fair,
I don't know. So it's a weird analogy, but like, I'm just trying to think of like, it's an experiment. So like, to me, that V1 was a failed experiment.
Yeah, it's like they're like collector's items at this point, right? Like, and I hate to use collector's items because then you can make the analogy to they're all collectibles, but like the first bulb that Edison, the janky ass bulb that Edison put out first, would probably go for a lot. So
somebody's gonna think it's cool. Like, somebody's gonna think some aspect of it is cool, and that's fair. But like, I just don't put as much stock into that. I'd rather have the actual thing.
Jay Lee saying that we call this blockchain forensics. So I love that we're getting into some blockchain forensics. We do have to move on, though. We had a great debate here, one on this show, but also for longer and with more contributors that got involved there on the GM Web3 show. That was pretty cool. A lot of CLONEX defenders as well. So if you want to go back and check that, I'll drop that here in the chat as well. But we do have to move on to Azuki here. So Azuki launched what they claim is like an industry standard now for physical back tokens. So I'm actually going to play this like minute-long video. I think they do a great job of kind of lore building within, I believe, what they call their garden or their enclave or whatever. But I like the way that they have their community aesthetically presented here. But I'll just play the video and we'll see you on the other side.
Yo, it's Z. I want to share with you something that we've been working on. The line between digital and physical is blurring. And at Chiru Labs, this intersection is our playground. We've been experimenting with something dope, and it starts with the Beam chip, a cryptographic chip that enables an experience we like to call scan to own. Use your phone to scan the chip to mint or claim a new kind of token. This is where the magic happens. Introducing the physical backed token, a new standard that ties a digital token to a physical item. For the first time ever, PBT enables decentralized authentication and tracking of the full ownership lineage of physical items, all completely on-chain and without a centralized server. PBT sets the foundation for new experiences and storytelling. As a holder, you can build a collection that captures both the digital and physical worlds, trade authenticated items, or participate in real-life quests. On October 21st, Azuki is launching our first physical drop with PBTs, a series of 9 golden skateboards tied to the Azuki story. And yes, they're completely plated in 24-karat gold. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the new types of experiences that are possible with this technology. The PBT standard is open source and available to the entire community starting today. So let's build the future of Web3 together.
All right. So, first of all, fantastic job by the Azuki team in having that explainer video. Love the interface that you saw there on their platform when you're able to like trade NFTs and it changes the interface. I don't know if that's exactly what it looks like when you actually, do the PBT transaction or how that works. But essentially, what they're doing is trying to tie physical with the digital, digiphysical or phygital, however you want to say it. They're trying to tie the two together. Yes, I said digiphysical for those on the network that use that term. But I mean, there's a little bit of QR
Nobody
code.
That term,
I use digiphysical and I will die on this fucking hill.
Stop
okay,
trying to make digiphysical a thing, Q. It's not a thing, Q.
All right, so PBT, physical back tokens. We'll jump into this. This just got released like in the last 24 hours, so we do have more time to look at this over the next couple days. Those gold skateboards look dope, if I'm just being like a simp and trying to look at this. So a lot of positives. Some negative probably is that it looks like a QR code that they're trying to like repackage as like really like crazy technological advancements, but go ahead.
It's basically an NFC chip. Right? Not
exactly
communication. People are already using NFC chips and they're trying to own that market. So they're trying to create their own version. They're trying to, they're trying to create a standard. Why put Zagabond on this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fucking great comment.
No, for real. Like, I'm not a fan, and I don't like that Azuki is becoming a standard or creating standards. Again, the team behind it is well known for rugging other projects. We need to make sure that context is out there. So yeah, I'm with Joseph on this. I don't trust it. I don't like it. It is a nice rollout. It's a nice rollout. The video's good. The skateboards might be cool. Who is the first NFT project to roll out with custom skateboards? DBs. Let's just make sure that that's out there. Everybody's just trying to, be like DBs. Basically, everything's a derivative of DBs at this point. Doing skateboards. Let's put it that way. But I guess I'm confused because they're only doing 9 like NFTs. So there's only 9 items.
No. I think it has to do with winning 9 golden. So there's only 9 golden skateboards. I think there's just like a promotion going on with that. But I do want to learn more. Again, this all kind of drops. So we'll look at both of these articles. If you guys also have any comments here on, and I'll drop it here in the chat, the link to PBT. But I'm already seeing NFC being dropped, NFC or RFID. I do think that they're like repackaging this technology and like saying that they're creating this new thing.
Well, I'm sure they've created some kind of platform or bridge that's proprietary, which is why they're trying to use that as a standard tool for all NFTs. They're trying to make it like crypto NFT native NFC, chips, right? And so it's like that is needed. So it's like it's not dumb. It's actually smart. Like I get what they're doing. I just don't want Azuki to be setting standards for anything that I'm doing. That's me personally, and my own ethos and my own,
lot of interesting chat, a lot of smart people, first of all, in chat, but a lot of interesting takes as well. my understanding of how this is a little bit different than the NFC chips or the chips that we're seeing in today's market is what they're trying to package is that it's like decentrally stored. So if they have this like information on some blockchain as opposed to a centralized server, then that's what they're trying to package this and say, look, you can scan this, it's all on chain, and therefore you have the ownership of the physical item as well on chain. So correct me if I'm wrong. Again, we do have a lot of smart people, but decentrally owning these items, these physical items, is kind of what they're trying to package it as.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is, if there's any real innovation here, that's it, right? Which somebody was going to do it. Somebody needed to do it. This is part of, how Phygital starts to become more seamless, and how NFTs start to integrate with the physical collectibles more seamlessly. So I don't know, maybe they'll be the standard. Maybe it's some other standard becomes, what's adopted. I think, what's interesting about it to me is NFT projects leading the technology. And, usually you've got these sort of like development houses that are creating all the tech, and then the projects sort of just
use it. Yep.
And make applications with it. I think it's interesting to see, whatever their labs is, they're calling their labs, right? Something,
yeah.
their version of Larva Labs, whatever it is, I forgot. I think it's interesting to see them starting to take the lead on the tech development side of things and trying to create standards and using the community and the platform of their NFT project to distribute it, to get adoption for it.
Yeah, Chiru Labs is the team there in the firm there. My question, I guess, has to do with Chiru Labs is that to a point that's being made in chat, Monsef Fadal is saying Azuki isn't just Zagabond. Azuki is many things, even though I don't own any. Chiru Labs has also given us, to another comment, 721A. Like there's all these like standards that they are kind of like making innovations on. So at what point do we maybe say like, maybe Zagabond has to leave the team in order for this stuff to actually feel like a little bit more legitimate to the community? But I mean, it's kind of a question that I want to throw out there is, at what point do we say, okay, Azuki's doing some good things for the space, as opposed to kind of just, putting up our defenses here?
I mean, okay. If somebody basically ran away with millions of dollars and then was trying to sell you more shit, wouldn't you want to be like, hey, but what about all this stuff over here? Like, if nothing's been done about that, then I don't think people should be taking him seriously. Like, at
That's
least
fair.
address it and then try and make some amends for it. Otherwise, you literally just rugged the community for millions of dollars, and now you're just continuing to try and exploit and take money from the community. It doesn't matter to me at that point if you're trying to do good things, and maybe the things you're doing are pretty good, if you haven't addressed the elephant in the room, right? So I don't know, man. It's, again, this gets into like ethics and morals, and some people just don't give a shit, right? Some people literally just, they don't fucking care.
It's a rabbit hole discussion. It's like, so I guess what you're saying is basically he needs to, kind of come out and address that this happened, as opposed to trying to like innovate and make people forget all about it. So it makes sense. It's a good take.
I just think that people should, hold some level of accountability for these people that continue to operate in the space and take down all this money. Just like ask questions. Expect something, from them.
Genetics is asking a question here. How do you have a decentralized server, no AWS? So well, obviously that's kind of another elephant in the room, is that a lot of what we're doing here in the Web3 space isn't technically decentralized because it is, routing all the way back through AWS. So yes, until that gets decided, I think what they're trying to say is they're putting it on some type of like blockchain, on-chain transaction there. So as opposed to just saying, no, we're going outside of AWS. So You caught us.
Is anything really decentralized?
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate, question.
Last,
we don't want to know the answer.
Yeah, I think we do know the answer, but we're working towards decentralized IPFS and all that stuff. So, anyways, last question I have here on this specific Azuki topic is, people are trying to do the phygital stuff, right? Like tying physical to digital items. My question is like, it's almost impossible to, in my opinion, like actually do this. Like, how does this work? So, basically, like I can own the NFT. And via a scan, when I trade the physical item, then that physical item then belongs to me. But how I feel like the link that they're trying to say is like they're trying to make unbreakable is actually just like in game theory, not something that can be like solved. Like physical item and digital item could get separated at some point, no matter what type of technology you're trying to attach to it. So,
well, I guess the point here is as long as you can scan it, then it's yours. Yeah, so it like retrieves the NFT to your wallet. I think it's interesting to think of like just random people scanning your shit without you giving them permission.
Go into your house, scan your skateboard, and it's mine now.
Can you recall it, from them? I'm sure there's some kind of safeguard against that. I'm not sure that I understand. Like it's a certificate of authenticity. I guess that's the only reason that it really matters, right? Is because it shows that it's legitimate, that it like the provenance, where it came from. Like I don't always understand why a physical item needs an NFT, but I guess it's the main utility is just the certificate of authenticity for a lot of these things.
I will add to the metaverse aspect there, right? Like if you have, in this example, it's a skateboard. I think that's a really easy example to use, but I'm using it. It's like, okay, now I have that skateboard in the metaverse whenever we do decide that everyone's going to hop in there.
It could, unlock metaverse utilities or things like that too.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like Ken's talking about it. What if a buyer doesn't scan it? Does the seller still own the thing? Like this is, yeah. It's a tough one. I don't want to continue down that. GIF, great points there, man. Genetics is saying NFT is the provenance. Quantum Variant says, what if it's like the Oni Mex? Marty McFly is saying, is a good skateboard really cool? At first it looks cool, but what are you gonna do with it? The heavy thing, not kickflip it. I have to read it in Marty's voice.
Yeah. I don't know if any of us could do Marty's voice.
No, I think he's trolling a little bit there, but dude, I love the DB skateboards, by the way. So great, like shill those anytime here. We could pull them up. I need one. I still don't have one.
Just the fact, the first NFT project to offer custom NFT skateboards with the NFTs when it dropped to the collectors was DB's. First NFT project to sponsor skaters. Facts.
You heard it here fucking first. DB's getting after it, innovating. Love to see it. All right, last topic here before we head out, and you have to see it one more time. One more time. It's there. I'm going to pull GIF up. Last chance. Last op. Do what you got to do. And we will run into our next...
we should pull up that tweet one more time. Just to remind people, we are giving away a DB's Sabet collaboration NFT, and that was the secret password. I hope you got it. We showed it 3 times. We're not going to show it again, but this is the NFT. That's the tweet. It's on the Web3 Twitter. All you got to do is like it, retweet it, and then comment with that secret password that we just flashed on the screen, and you're entered. And here after this show, we're going to randomly select one winner to take home that limited edition beautiful Sabet DB's collab.
Amazing stuff. All right, we are moving on to our last topic. Creatress Art is in the house saying, yo, what is up?
Yo.
All right. So here's the last topic, Coinbase NFT. So Coinbase NFT, of course, launched 8, 9, 10 months ago at this point. Everybody in the space was super excited. This was going to be the onboarding for the masses, right? Like your grandma was going to buy some NFT on Coinbase because everybody's there. That's everybody's on-ramp, right? People use FTX.
I don't know if my grandma is on Coinbase.
Your grandma's not that hip then. Come on,
Well,
man.
both my grandmas are dead, frankly. But
All right. This was an episode of NFT Live. We will see you next week. Anyways, I'm sorry about that GIF. We will move to the story here. No one is minting Coinbase NFT Vox trolls, but why? All right. So
because the floor price is fucking ridiculous.
okay,
Bottom
he
line.
jumped the
It's not
gun.
that hard. This is not a hard one.
The
This
larger
is not a hard one.
the larger combo here is just Coinbase NFT in general. But as far as the troll Vox, jump into that story for me real quick, and we will kind of do that. But yes, 0.88 floor, hit it.
No, it's the mint price. It's not a floor.
Or not floor, mint. You know what I meant.
It's got a really high supply, roughly 9,000 NFTs in the collection, and their mint price is almost an ETH. And it's just like you're in a fucking bear market trying to get a new NFT platform going with a new, entry into it. That's again, it's like, I guess trolls have a brand. I knew about the little characters when I was a kid because my sister had them and they were fun to play with. They had the fun, colorful hair. But like, is there a large component of NFT collectors out there on Coinbase NFT waiting for $1,200, $1,300 troll NFTs to mint? I don't think so. I'm just so confused by who's consulting these brands trying to come into the space.
Dude, these cats are making a ton of money too. 2,600 ETH there. 0.88. You have 556 owners.
There's almost 6,000 of them not even minted though.
Yeah, no,
So,
true.
like, so good. You just trapped a bunch of people's money into your project that you're not going to be able to sell out. What are you going to do for those people? Like, what are they going to give that money back? Are they going to like? How are they going to sell it out at this point when there's only about roughly one third of the supply that's minted? Like WAGMI United couldn't even sell out with a team of like 40 fucking massive names. And
yeah,
that was what?
That was a botch.
Or 0.32?
Don't get me started with WAGMI United. I know.
They could have looked and just been like, hey, what's another big rollout that's kind of similar to ours at a similar price point? Show me one that's been minting in the last couple months that's been selling out at a price point like that.
So I'm actually just jumping in a little bit to this project as well. Not with my ETH, but like getting the information. It looks like, of course, Gala Games was part of this rollout. So Gala Games is a large GameFi project, and Townstar is one of their biggest brands within that. So not saying that it's like a huge game at this point. It is within that like Web3 user base statistics. But if you go down here, then this is the actual troll website. You can see that a lot of this IP is based on their Townstar game. So maybe there was a built-in audience, but definitely not at 0.88 regardless.
I've never even heard of Townstar. So I'm sure it's a thing, but like I've been in the space, basically since NFTs picked up, and I don't know what Townstar is. Like there's no like hype for trolls. Like I just don't. I'm just so confused by coming out with a mint this high. I think it's fucking ridiculous. It feels like kind of insulting, and this is the type of reason why people like get angry at these brands and be like, yo, is this just a fucking cash grab? Like, what is this? Like did you spend a bunch of time and energy to educate and onboard the trolls audience into Web3, or did you just show up thinking, hey, they're gonna fucking throw a bunch of ETH at us because we're trolls? We've got the Trolls brand behind us, DreamWorks. DreamWorks is fucking cool and shit. Like they've done some really amazing movies, but like, has DreamWorks been investing in onboarding their communities into Web3, or did they just fucking expect to show up with a bag and people are just gonna fill it with their ETH?
I think what's happening here is they thought they were going to get more people from the Gala Games ecosystem. Gala is a larger project in the GameFi space. They do have a significant user base that owns Gala tokens that are just involved in that space. I think honestly, this is more geared towards them, and they just didn't come through. So,
okay, so Gala didn't spend enough time educating onboarding more of the trolls in the DreamWorks community. Wherever it is, this is okay. I'll get on my soapbox real quick. If you are a brand or a celebrity looking to enter into Web3, the best person to look at is what Gary Vee did, and onboard, take time, take months to invest time, energy, resources, your own time. That means you actually going into Twitter Spaces, going into Clubhouse, getting into Discord, inviting your community and providing resources and educational opportunities to actually get them into Web3 so that you have more of those people there waiting, ready for you. You're adding value to the Web3 space, to the community. You're helping to grow this ecosystem, not just extracting value from it. If you just show up and you haven't done anything for Web3 culture, for NFT culture, for NFT communities, if you just show up expecting people to be fucking hyped for you because you've done XYZ in Web 2, like, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken, and I think you're going to regret it. And so that's it. That's what all of these big brands, all these big projects with big names tied to them, they don't do enough early investment before they fucking launch with their project and try and sell shit. They do not onboard their Web 2 communities effectively into Web 3. It's a fucking shame because it's all of these represent missed opportunities.
Yeah. That's fair, man. I do want to go back to that metaverse point again. I'm gonna read directly from the announcement on Coinbase, right? Like all Vox, DreamWorks trolls Vox live in the Voxverse, the upcoming metaverse from the mind of Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, SimCity. Vox will also have a utility in all Gala games, increasing players' rewards potentials. So it's like. It launched this 6 months ago. You might get like more hype just based on like metaverse, maybe even a year ago. But it feels like it's a metaverse. Like they overestimated the actual users like want to do this inside of Web3.
Yes, and with all of that potential value, all these names, you got the Sims, you got DreamWorks, you got Trolls, you got Coinbase NFT. If you have all of this weight behind a single project and you can't sell that out, that means that you're doing a bad job. Like you need to invest more in onboarding people and figure out how to price your shit properly. Like it's absurd to me, like that you can't sell out that project with the amount of clout and like all this utility that you can actually deliver on. Like they can actually deliver on this because these are proven names, people with track records, famous brands, they've got resources. It's embarrassing to me. Honestly.
This stay-at-home mom, this is from Genetics, this stay-at-home mom who has had to endure watching new troll movies multiple times doesn't want one. Genetics also said this would have been great as a Roblox drop. Creatress Artist saying it's a cash grab indeed. Asmodee saying I feel all the Gala ecosystem is priced way too high. And a lot of other comments. Jay Lee is saying I must agree Gary Vee brought me into NFTs. So yeah, a lot of great comments there, guys. Appreciate it. We'll continue to have that conversation around Coinbase, I think, as well before we hop out of here. Which we do need to do that here relatively shortly. So 0.88 is just too high. What the fuck?
in a bear market, that's what I mean. It's fucking insulting. Like that you think that people are going to be spending that kind of money on your shit when it hasn't been proven. Like, I don't know. It's fucking insulting. But yo, real talk, real quick shout out. Mumbot is dropping on Coinbase NFT this month. I think it's October 28th. So big love to Mumbot. Check her out. I have not been collecting any NFTs on Coinbase NFT yet, but I am excited for Mumbot. And then we know Jessica Yatrovsky also has a big drop coming on Coinbase NFT in November. I believe it's like November 11th or 12th. So
is the Mumbot drop like on Coinbase? Is that actually like, does that have any material out at this point, or?
I don't know if she's got any Coinbase material, but I mean, she's got NFTs, like successful NFT. Apparently, so Mumbot was in GM Web3 this morning, and apparently Gary Vee owns like 40 of her NFTs. That's absurd. Like for Gary Vee to have one of your NFTs is cool. For him to be so bullish on you that he's got 40.
Yeah, that was a name drop. That was a full
Well,
on name drop there.
well, to me, this is alpha, because Gary Vee usually gets behind people that he believes in, and a lot of people look to him for what should they be collecting. So if you don't know who Mumbot is, she's a super dope established artist. Gary Vee, she's been in the space for a long time. Gary Vee collects 40 of her fucking NFTs, and she's about to have a big drop on a major platform on Coinbase NFT coming up in the next like week or two. To me, that's alpha. So like I'm gonna be going and snagging some of her like sketchbooks or some, like I'm gonna get at least one or two Mumbai NFTs before she drops the Coinbase one, because
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really like the aesthetic on the one that we have pulled up on the screen. It's like almost like street art in a way. Like I really like that graffiti street art vibe that I get, but like still has some like Web3 elements. I fucking love that. Yeah. Big shout out to Mumbot. What are the floor on some of these? Like 2.5 ETH I saw last sold. That's pretty expensive.
Dude,
but
the floor on her sketchbook collection on OpenSea is only like 0.08. So that's pretty
alpha.
affordable. Yeah. That's where I'm definitely gonna be getting in.
Yeah, we got to pull it up here actually, the sketchbook. So were these here's the Coinbase NFT discussion, because I have not bought an NFT from Coinbase. I know that they had that huge kind of rollout that completely bombed. We all know that they were doing like I think at one point they did like 10 ETH in one day. It was like a joke in the community almost. But now it seems like they have a little bit of that early Nifty Gateway vibe. And I say that with most people attach negative feelings to Nifty Gateway, but like early on, Nifty Gateway was fucking sick. Like Nifty Gateway was the place that people wanted to drop on, and then they completely just like milked their entire community, milked their entire user base, and then it went all the shit. But it feels like Coinbase NFT is coming back a little bit. Is that the vibe you get?
Well, they would have had to have been hot in the first place to come back. So I don't think they're coming back. I think they're starting to get their footing and get a little bit of momentum and figure out what they're doing. That's it. I just think they're figuring it out a little bit and working through the kinks. So to me, the big issue with Coinbase is that it's like the same shit that I've been saying. It's the big issue with a lot of these different, again, big brands, big communities. They're just not onboarding properly, because the reason why everybody was so excited about Coinbase NFT is because Coinbase has a crypto user base of almost 100 million people. So you automatically think like, oh, well, that's like all these people are already into crypto. They are ready for NFTs more than the average person. Like they're basically primed for NFTs. Then they've already got crypto wallets. You would think that like this is an easy way to get a few million more people into the NFT space.
Yeah.
But if they don't fucking actually educate and onboard that community, and so again, that was it. Is that they launched it without actually doing any work to get their existing user base excited about what they were doing with NFTs. And that, to me, it's fucking shocking. But you have to understand the way that they're doing this as a business perspective is they're doing this as basically like an internal startup. So they're treating Coinbase NFT as an experiment internally, and they're saying, hey, we'll give it a go. We'll put a little bit of resources here, but we're not going to put that much here until it's proven out. And so I think that they're seeing now, okay, it's working-ish. We've had a few successes at this point. They're probably starting to invest a little bit more. And I do know, just from being a Coinbase user myself, that they've been starting to push it a lot more on their larger user base. Like with emails in the app, you start to see their NFT drops showing up a lot more. So they are building those bridges from their crypto wallets into the NFTs a little bit more. So I just think they're starting to figure it out. They're getting a little bit of momentum.
They had massive marketing behind that initial drop, right? Like they have that user base that you talked about, and they even had a fucking Super Bowl ad, but the problem was...
But that's not the same thing. They should have taken that money and invested it in educational content directed at their...
Yeah, well, here's the deal. Like I was going to say, nobody wants to be even onboarded for the most part. Like people that are transacting on Coinbase that aren't in Web3, they don't really want to be educated. They just want the next flip. But I will counter that argument and say that Coinbase actually did a good job. I don't know if you ever hopped on Coinbase and did those like watch to earn stuff, which basically were like you watch a video about BAT or you watch a video about just any crypto token, and they gave you, albeit a little bit, it was $5, maybe even less, but they were telling people about those tokens, and so they're doing onboarding there. I think I'm going to piggyback on that thought that you were talking about onboarding, which is NFTs didn't have that rail for these people that just want to either flip or do want to learn. Like you're saying, they didn't have any onboarding set up. They didn't have like, here, watch a video and, earn tokens by learning about what, Doodles is. That's tougher to do without a fungible token in that ecosystem, right? Like I'm pretty sure all of these other like crypto tokens either paid Coinbase to do that, or Coinbase had like a specific pool that they could say, okay, we're going to, onboard people into crypto with, an incentive like paying them. So you can't really say, I'm going to give you a doodle if you watch this, but there really wasn't that rail for your cousin, your uncle. If it's not grandma's, it's uncles, cousins that want to be able to trade these things. So it was just like,
well, and to your point, like until you've had a couple hits, a couple like successful drops, it's much harder to get people interested, and I think at this point they've had a couple decently successful drops, and so it makes it much easier now. It's inertia, right? Like that's momentum. People start to see that and they start to think, okay, the next one's going to do well, the next one's going to do well. I can, to your point, maybe flip and make some money on these NFTs now. So yeah, man. I don't know. I have not yet collected either. Again, I'm excited to see some really talented artists that we know in the space getting their chance to shine, and hopefully Coinbase is going to support them. Coinbase will hopefully give Jessica Yatrovsky and Mumbot the love that they deserve, and yeah, I hope those are very successful. But those will probably be the first Coinbase NFTs that I pick up.
Just to add some context here to the talk that we're having, Dune Analytics has like great dashboards for data. Here's a volume chart for Coinbase. So based on the the amount of sales that are happening on the platform, you can see that like, yes, we are, in that. Every time I pull up a chart, I have to preface it with like every chart kind of looks like this. So basically the sales are down from like back even in this June and things like this, but the important thing that me and Gif are talking about here is that they need to continue to, one, I think going this route where they're attracting Web3 artists, like Web3 native people, is the great route. Like instead of just going with like, I think the biggest thing on their platform at the time that they were like saying that they were partnering with was like Mechaverse. They were like partnering with all these big PFP projects and everybody was like, what the fuck? Like why would you show Mechaverse on your like main page here? So they're going the opposite route. They're going like grassroots, but they do need to make those rails to make it easy to trade NFTs, or they're not going to be able to fucking like take all the users that you're saying that they have and get them to buy and sell NFTs. So yeah, crazy stuff. Hopefully that volume picks up though, but it feels like their reputation is picking up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, I think we want them to succeed, right? It's like they have a lot of potential value to be bringing into the larger NFT ecosystem, and having Coinbase NFT succeed and bringing in more of their user base into NFTs is good for the whole community. So, when we're critical, just, everybody remember, like, it's because we care. Like we want to see these marketplaces and these companies, these brands do well, but we want them to do well by the community. We want them to do good, interesting, valuable, sustainable, educational. Like we want them to be doing good work and not just exploitive, money grabbing, cash grabbing, and basically shilling stuff that is out of it's tone deaf. Like this trolls thing at that price point during this market feels very tone deaf.
A lot of this move to doing what we're doing now with Web3 has to do with getting the words that Gif is talking about, that I'm talking about, that these network of creators that actually understand what's happening natively in this space out to the broader ecosystem, right? Instead of having people that have no idea what's going on. Like Gary Vee is an outlier in the people that were had strong voices in Web 2 and came in and actually knew what the fuck was going on. So we really want to continue to spread the word. Please leave a like, a sub if this is your first time on NFT Live. We're doing this fucking daily, so we appreciate that. Gif, I do have one comment for you that I want you to hit on, and I will also talk on Creatress Art asking about Watch to Earn. But Jay Lee said, so not financial advice, but if we can send wrapped ETH offers on Coinbase right now, is that probably a good idea at the moment?
Because I haven't been buying and selling yet on Coinbase, I don't know if you can do ETH offers. But give it a shot. I mean, to me, again, it's like learn the platform, figure it out. I'm sure that it's, I'm sure that it operates similar-ish to OpenSea, but has its own idiosyncrasies that I'll be learning more about. And the volume probably just isn't quite the same. That's it. Like as OpenSea. So
no, great comment. I was somebody came through. Marty McFly came through and said,
take a shot every time. Yo, we would be fucking hammered on most of these shows. I'm here for it. Q. If you're down to take shots, and Marty, if you're for real, if you want to take shots every time that we say Gary V's name, I will fucking do that with you. I'm game, bro. Let's heckin' go.
I didn't realize I needed a bottle right next to me on these shows, but I guess we will need it. Creatress, the Watch to Earn thing. So example that could be in NFTs right now is like if you went onto Coinbase, or if grandma or uncle or whatever went onto Coinbase and could earn like $3, $5, and they'll do it. I've seen some of my cousin was like, literally, I watched all that shit. I earned like $50 at the end of the day. If you could earn Ape token for learning about Bored Ape, like that's a rail for onboarding people from Coinbase into NFTs. Like that, it's as easy as that. So now people don't think, oh, they're Nazis. It's just actually just an NFT project. Like, here we go.
They're just storytellers with bad humor.
True. Yeah, we do a great job of selling Bored Ape here.
They just
on the network.
They just have bad taste in fashion and humor. That's it. No, but I think that is one way to incentivize the onboarding and the educational aspect of it. Pre-workout shots. I mean, I'm already doing those, so let's turn it into a game. Let's fucking gamify my morning routine. Absolutely. I don't know if anybody else is taking fucking like just raw dogging pre-workout shots like I am.
You do have a lot of experience in that department.
Get on my level. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll get on your level tomorrow while Ronan is on this show, because I don't want to dive down the rabbit hole of pre-workout raw dog situations. Yeah. So, guys, we do have to get out of here, guys and gals. Thank you for tuning in today on NFT Live. We appreciate you so much getting involved in the comments, attending GM Web3 morning show, just doing it all. There is one last chance, the last chance for you to take part in this dope fucking giveaway. Otherwise, our